Hey Kingdom, today I got a really cool and unique character in Baldurs Gate 3, and we're building no other than Monk Warlock multiclass. Starting class will be Warlock, and there's one big reason why you probably never saw this build. Warlock spellcasting ability is Charisma, while Monk is really ability dependent. He really likes to have high dexterity and constitution, to do more damage and take more damage, while at the same time his armor is very wisdom dependent, so you want high wisdom as Monk too, and with some builds you also want strength. But don't worry, I got it covered for you today. So pick your favorite race. I picked Tiefling today because he is really kind of Monk Warlock style character, if you just look at him, but the best race as always will be Wood Half Elf. Warlock comes with 2 cantrips, and considering our low charisma, it's almost impossible to cast Eldritch Blast. That's why you want to get rid of it and get some exploration stuff like Minor Illusion and maybe Blade Ward. Warlock subclass will be the Great Old One, because with the sheer amount of our attacks we will do a lot of critical hits, and this means Great Old One passive feature will trigger a lot. When you land a critical hit, enemies will be frightened and won't be able to move. Also we pick 2 spells as Warlock, and we're going with Hex and Hellish Rebuke. And get this ability point distribution. We're maxing out Dexterity with 17, getting 15 Constitution and 15 Wisdom, and added +1 bonus to Constitution. And don't worry about having low Charisma and no Eldritch Blast on low levels. Your basic dagger will do nice damage with Dexterity as main stat. Also, whenever you get attacked, you can retaliate with Hellish Rebuke for a really nice chunk of damage, which will basically one-shot all early game enemies. And if you know the fight is in your way, you can cast Blade Ward before the fight. This will give you ability to basically block half the damage in early game. Also, you can use Minor Illusion before the fight. It will reposition your enemies into best spot. But our bread and butter is Hex, of course. You can cast any Hex you like. The most powerful will be Dexterity, but most of the time you just don't care which Hex to cast. So don't worry, cast Hex on your enemy and then just attack him. Look at the damage. With Hex applied, we basically can one-shot enemies in early game, because we will do extra necrotic damage on top of our damaging abilities and basic attacks. And coolest part, you can recast it without using any spell slots by using Reapply Hex, only usable after you killed initial Hex target. So while you're keeping your concentration, you're basically destroying machine in early game, and you don't need to worry about anything. But now let's talk about our next levels. And we instantly switching back to the Monk class. The good part, we basically don't need to pick anything right now, so just get Monk and you will unlock Flurry of Blows. That's when you want to get rid of your basic weapons. Also, you can get rid of another thing right now, and it's your armor. As Warlock, you are specialized in light armor, which is good, but most of the light armors won't give you a large amount of armor class. So by getting rid of it, you will get more armor class with Monk passives. And the most unique feature of Monk is key points, of course. You will use them to cast Flurry of Blows, which will do 2 basic hand attacks. And also key points will be recharged on short rest, same as your Warlock spell slot. That's how these classes synergize really well. Sometimes people suggest to combine Sport Druid with Monk, because ability points synergize well, but in reality keeping these extra hit points from Moon Druid is basically impossible, while keeping concentration on Hex is a lot more manageable in the game. And basically you want to start a round by hexing enemy and then doing 1 basic attack with your hand. It already will inflict some damage, but from the next turn you will use Flurry of Blows on the hexed target. That will inflict 2 basic 1d4 attacks, with added 1d6 from Hex, and also you can use action for 1 more attack. So even from level 2 you already can do around 50 damage per turn. That's crazy. If you're out of key points or your concentration is broken and you don't have spell slots, you can use Unarmed Strike with bonus action. But most of the time when initial target is done, you basically reapply Hex to the next one and go attack him. So overall, even on level 2 we are pretty crazy character, and that's basically our playstyle. So if you enjoy it, let's level up even more. First of all, we get in one more level in Monk to get unarmed movements. That's why we're wearing no armor, to being able to travel a lot more. And by traveling more, we can hit more targets. That's what we want to do. Also, Monk comes with different types of actions that will use key points to dash. You can use it sometime, but most of the time just don't waste your key points on this stuff, just use them on damage. The next level we get in Monk again, and basically we want to pick our subclass. And honestly, it's not too strict. You can roleplay as way of 4-element Monk to use some different elemental abilities from the range. They will have additional damage from Hex too, but I like to go with way of the open hand Monk for more powerful flurry of blows and for more extra damage later. So let me show you this character right now. Since flurry of blows is bonus action, it looks like we're basically losing some synergy, because Hex is bonus action too. But after playtesting a little bit, I found that it basically saves us a lot of key points, so we don't need to rest a lot and we still do a nice amount of damage. Because most of the time single flurry of blows is not enough, and then on the next turn you will always finish him with second flurry of blows. Also, if you don't like way of the open hand Monk, you can go with Shadow Monk, so it will work completely fine too. And no matter what subclass you will pick, you will have no problems in Act 1. Basic attacks will grow stronger, and you will do 1d6 with basic unarmed strike. Same with flurry of blows. And considering we will inflict 6d6 damage on this level, it's already 30 average damage with 100 maximum damage on critical strikes. On level 5, get one more level in Monk, and now we can pick our feat. And if you want the ridiculous power and basically most OP character, just go with Tavern Brawler and get +1 point in Constitution. But with Tavern Brawler, make sure to reallocate your points, and you want to have 15 Constitution instead. Because when you get in Tavern Brawler, you can get +1 into Strength on Constitution, and you will get Constitution, of course, +1 to Dexterity from Hex Hair, and you will basically get insanely OP character in Act 1. But what if you don't want to make your game into easy mode? You can go with ability improvement and get +1 to Dexterity and +1 into Wisdom. This character will still be insanely powerful and will still work. You will have 17 armor class right now. Also, considering there's not a lot of useful Jewelry, you can use a lot of protective Jewelry for this character and get armor class even higher. Now let's talk about which flurry of blows we want to use. We want to use Topple most of the time, because it's our bread and butter. With Topple you will be able to make your targets prone, and this will give you advantage on attack rolls. This means you will roll 2 dice instead of 1, and you will critical hit a lot more often, considering our amount of attacks, and also each attack will be made with advantage. But if you're in the right position, Flurry of Blows Push is also a nice ability. You can push your targets into awful position or off the cliff. But again, prone target is basically almost guaranteed critical hit. And with this build, critical hits is devastating, because you're not only inflicting damage right now as Monk Warlock, you're frightening your enemies, and they will have disadvantage on ability checks and also on attack rolls. While we having no gear right now, there's best gear in Mountain Pass. You just need to find Lady Esther Trader and talk with her nicely, and she will have really good gear for you. It will be gloves that will inflict additional fire damage on your attacks. That will increase our damage even higher. And Graceful Claws is a nice armor to have, because it will add +2 into Dexterity, which will increase our armor class and increase our chance to hit at the same time, and also more damage on hit. Also, I think it looks pretty cool, especially with this Sinful Red on Bone White die. And on the next level you pick in Monk to get extra attack, and also ability to do Stunning Strike that will stun your enemies. Well, definitely you can use it in some situations, better use key points on just Flurry of Blows, and you will be on next level in no time. On level 6 we get in one more level in Monk, and this will unlock us a lot of additional features, but most importantly passive additional damage. Don't forget to go into your passive menu and turn them on. You will have 3 options mind, soul and body, and they will do psychic, radiant and necrotic damage. I like to have them on my hotbar to switch them faster in case I need, and you can turn on only one at the same time. And now basically don't forget to examine your enemies. You can right click them and press examine. I guess there's another options on console, and basically you will find is there any resistances or maybe vulnerabilities to radiant, necrotic and psychic damage. Right now we will do basically 4 attacks per turn, which will do from 11 to 22 damage, and that's without considering Hex. With Hex it's even more, and our average damage is almost 100 considering we can critical strike a lot, and also we got a lot of disable and control options like stunning strike, so that's what I like in this character. He's so cool and fun with a lot of options for cool and stylish fighting. The power is just insane, and the only problem you may think of is probably chance to hit, because we don't have Tavern Brawler, but Tavern Brawler just give you 100% chance to hit, and the game becomes just one button click. That's why I like this build a lot more. It gives me more fun with a lot more flexibility and not just overpowered character. But considering our passive scales with wisdom and we have high wisdom, our damage is more than enough to destroy enemies. Look at his HP, just with one hit of Flurry of Blows we're doing almost 100 damage. And this power is more than enough to carry you through the Act 2 pretty easily, because most enemies will have around 100 HP and you will just one-shot them, and you will find yourself in Act 3. That's where we will finish our build. On the way here you will fight some Githyankis. Make sure to not miss Boots of Uninhibited Kushiga on them. That's the best monk boots. They will add additional damage on hit with our unarmed strikes, and Flurry of Blows will become just devastating weapon. And that's how you want to finish build in Act 3. Basically you want to switch your subclass again and get Rogue subclass right now. So after getting Rogue you don't care about any abilities and get one more level of Rogue on the next level. Now you will be able to use dash and other actions as bonus action, which is pretty useful in some situations. And then followed by one more level in Rogue by getting Thief subclass, which gives us additional bonus action. And we will be able to do 2 Flurry of Blows on the same turn. Then get one more level in Monk, and then one more level in Monk. You will be able to pick Fit right now, and I'm going with basic ability improvement and adding +2 into Dexterity. It will increase our damage output and also chances to hit. And in Act 3 you can use this Soul Rejuvenation Vest. It will make our armor class more than 20, and that's more than enough, but also it have very unique interactions that will increase our damage even higher. I will show how to use it correctly. Another good item in Act 3 is Mask of Soul Perception, that will add +2 to hit chance and also to damage. To get body part, you need to find yourself in the lower city central wall teleport location, and you will just not miss this building. Just go inside and you will find trader to buy this vest from him. After getting outside and getting straight to the teleport location, follow the road upstairs and you will find this big building. And basically go inside, look on the second floor, you will find a chest where the mask is lies, and you will get this insanely cool looking monk warlock character. And considering our basic attack doing from 14 to 25 basic damage, our average damage right now can be 183. But to achieve it you need to know few tricks, so let me show you everything we need to do right now. As always, we start in fight with a Hex. If you do it from sneaky position, you can surprise your enemies, and even against pretty armored targets, our hit chance is pretty nice. Yeah, not as broken as Tavern Brawler, but still it's pretty okay, and you will hit a lot of attacks and crit a lot. So we can do 2 attacks and then 2 Flurry of Blows from the second turn after we casted Hex. While hitting 20 AC target is not always the case, and coolest part, from range attacks we can deflect missile as Monk, and basically we can pick the missile in our hand and as a reaction throw this missile on our targets instead of Hellish Rebook if we got some spell slots left. And that's the trick. So when someone hits you, you will be prompted with the reaction of Greater Kushiga Counter that comes from your armor. Greater Kushiga Counter. When someone misses us, we can use reaction to use unarmed strike against this target. But never use this stuff when it's enemy turn, because you will have only one reaction per turn. That's why you want to keep the stuff for your turn instead. And then start the fight by doing 2 attacks, followed by flurry of blows, and then just move out of range to provoke opportunity attack. Now you can use your reaction and you will retaliate with your basic hit, but this will trigger extra attack from Monk. And now you can do 1 extra attack with your basic hand. So technically you will do 8 attacks in 1 turn, and these 8 attacks is insanely devastating. They will blow your enemies away, and you will find insanely cool and unique character. I hope you like this build and you will have blast playing it in Baldur's Gate 3. Watch other cool videos on the screen right now and see you in the next videos.